Hello, I'm Dr. Ron England, and I'm going to take you through retention and catchments in SMADA. This is one part of the SMADA online video help system. The first thing that you'll notice right now is that I'm actually logged into the SMADA online, which is at smadaonline.com. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click here to enter. Since I'm logged in, I have a lot more features available to me than if I was not logged into the system. The big difference between logging in and not logging in is when you log in, you have the ability to save information underneath your login account, and you can retrieve that. So I'm going to click here to enter, and I'm going to go to the BMP selection and pollutant analysis piece here, because what we're going to talk about right now is the concept of catchments and retention. So the concept of a catchment is essentially a watershed. I can go to the catchment, and if you click on any of these tools, what will happen is if you have created a catchment already and saved that catchment underneath your name, those will show up here in a little grid right there so that you can go ahead and click on edit. At any time you can make a new one. If you have not created a catchment, it will automatically go to the edit screen. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to actually take an existing catchment itself, and I'm going to click on edit, and that will take me to a report view of that catchment. Now what I'd like to do is have the capability of editing that catchment, and that's relatively straightforward to do. I can click on the edit at any time, and it will actually take me to the edit screen specifically for sample catchment 2. In this case, I've selected a zone. These are specific to Florida, so I have Florida Zone 1 through Zone 5, which are rainfall zones, and then different conditions for land use. Land use itself also can be edited in the SMADA system, and it allows you to enter new land uses or use any of the global ones that are there. For each catchment, you have a few pieces of information that you need to enter. One is the mean annual rainfall, and then you have preconditions and postconditions for that watershed. So in the precondition, you can set the land use, and the postcondition, you can set the land use. And for both pre and post conditions, you can set a directly connected impervious area curve number and the percent of that watershed which is directly connected. Also, it does allow you to have a different catchment area for both pre and post, but commonly you would have the same catchment areas. Once you're done, if you click done entering the information, if you click calculate, it will take you back to that report screen that you saw before. One thing to note is if you click save, it will save this as a new catchment. If you hit update, it will actually update the existing catchment with any changes that you have made to the catchment itself. So if you click save, you will actually get a third. In this case, I had 2, and I'll get a third one that will be in there. Well, I've already got this information in, and I'm gonna click done here because I want to go to the next one here, which is looking at retention. Retention is part of the BMPTRAINS model, which allows you to calculate pollutant removals for retention. And what I'll do in this case is I'm going to create a new retention, so I'll click Create New, and I'm going to get a blank screen. The name is only required specifically if you plan to save or update this retention. So this is actually like a retention pond. I can either do one of two things. I can enter the information that I need to calculate the pollutant removal efficiency of this pond directly, which means I'd enter the retention area, retention depth, and the catchment information, or I can actually use information from the previous catchment that I had entered. And in this case, it will always use the post-condition catchment information. Underneath those situations, I don't need to select either a zone, and I don't need to I don't have to enter the catchment information because it's going to pull that directly from the catchment. I can then set a retention area. Well, the catchment area was 10 acres in this case, so I'm going to use a retention area of 1 with an average depth of, let's say, 2, and then I can go ahead and click calculate. When it does the calculate, it's going to go ahead and give me the retention area and the depth. There's the catchment information from the catchment that I was looking at earlier, and it pulled the rainfall zone for that one, even though the one that I had entered was the same. If I had entered a rainfall zone explicitly, it would have used the one from the catchment anyway. And I have a retention volume and a treatment volume, and I have a calculated treatment efficiency. If you want to actually see how that looks on a plot, you can throw a plot up here that takes the average retention depth and plots it versus removal efficiency. At this case, I can save or update this, and so I have the ability to save this information. Remember, the same things apply when you save and update here. If you save, it will save it as a new file. If you update, it will update the existing file itself. So as you can see, it's relatively straightforward. Now, last little piece here is if I click Report, and I'm going to go ahead and click Done here because I can go back to the retention itself. And note that I have a retention pond here that I've actually done. I can click report here, and the report brings up a very printable report. This can also be copied and pasted directly if you wanted to copy and paste the report information. It's a clean form with only the information about that retention on the form, and that's the way all the reports work. So hopefully this was very useful for you for calculating the retention. One thing to note in the retention, I'll go ahead and edit this one, is that when you're looking at the editing capability of this, you'll notice that there's just basic information that you need to enter, and you have all the tools at the bottom necessary to do saving and updating and being able to use the information. I will make a note that it is very important to enter descriptive name and description informations for anything that you plan on saving and reusing later, simply because it makes it much easier to find it when you're looking for it within the grid that has all your retentions that you might have done.